Andrea from the team at We Love Baking. Today I'm going to share with you how to make raspberry and white chocolate muffins. Let's get baking. So before I start making anything for my muffins, I have prepared for the bake. So I've got my muffin tin I've lined with muffin cases, and I've got my oven preheating behind me. So now we can get baking. So before I start with my dry ingredients, I'm going to get my buttermilk ready. Now if you've never made buttermilk before, it is really easy. You need some milk that I've already got in my jug, and to that we are simply going to add a little bit of lemon juice. Now there are a few different ways you can make buttermilk. This is one, just lemon juice and milk. You can also do equal quantities of yogurt and milk as well. That works just as well. That gives you a thicker one, but all of them make buttermilk. They just come out a little bit, looking a little bit different, but in a bake they always work really well, whichever way you choose. So that is my buttermilk done. We are going to set that aside for a moment, and we are going to move on to our dry ingredients. So into my mixing bowl, I am going to pop in some plain flour, baking powder, salt, and my final ingredient that I'm going to use in my dry mix is some caster sugar. Of course, today I'm using Tate Lyle's caster sugar. The reason I like using this one is because it dissolves really well rather than using granulated sugar, which can leave you with a few grains of sugar throughout your muffins. So caster sugar is the way to go, and I've already measured it out. So that is going straight into my bowl as well. And I'm going to give it a quick whisk together. So once that's had a very quick whisk, we are done with our dry ingredients for now. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going back to my jug with my buttermilk in. Now, if I show you, in the few minutes I have left it, my buttermilk has got these little, you can't really see it with a fork, but can you see there's little bits on the fork? That's my milk starting to curdle. That is perfect. That's all I wanted it to do. So into there, I'm going to add in 3 eggs, some oil. This is just plain vegetable oil, no flavoring or anything like that needed. And finally, some vanilla. So we're going to give all this a quick mix together, and then this is our wet ingredients done. So once all your wet ingredients are combined, we are ready to put everything together. So let's bring our dry ingredients back over here, and we're going to pour the wet ingredients into the dry. Now, it's really important to remember when you are making muffins that you want to mix the wet and the dry as little as possible. The reason for this is because if you overmix it, you will end up with really tough muffins. They're not going to be lovely and fluffy, so you want to handle the dough at this point as little as possible. So I'm going to mix it with a spatula. You can use a spoon as well, a large one, either work, but you want to still be left with some streaks because we still have a couple more ingredients to add in. So when you still have a few streaks left in your mixture, at this point we're going to add in our last 2 ingredients, which of course are going to be our white chocolate chips and our raspberries. Now I'm using frozen raspberries today just to help it make it easier with mixing it through, and also to try and minimize a little bit of the bleeding of the raspberries into my muffins. So those are going in too. And we're going to fold really, really gently again, just to get everything evenly mixed through. So once everything is combined, it is time for us to put them into our cases. So I'm going to move things across to give me a little bit more space to work. Now, I like using an ice cream scoop to put my mixture into my cases. You can use regular spoons, you can jug it in if you prefer, pour it in, put it in a jug and then pour it in that way. Whichever way works for you. Try and keep the amounts that you put into each of the cases the same so that they bake up evenly in the oven. So once you have all your mixture in your cases, I'm going to add a little extra. Now this is totally an optional, you don't have to do it at all, but I'm going to use some Demerara sugar. I'm going to sprinkle it over the top of my muffins, and what that's going to do is as they bake, it's going to give them this lovely crunch on top. So those are ready to go in my oven. My oven is now preheated to 180 Celsius, and these are going to bake for 25 to 30 minutes. And they are done, aren't they? Beautiful. There you have it, raspberry and white chocolate muffins. Thanks so much for joining us today, friends. I hope you've liked this video. Don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe, and do let us know below if you'll be baking these too. Happy baking.